Hey Ashley, hey Dylan. Dylan, congratulations on all of your success. I'm extremely proud of you. Extremely. I started a little bit early. I'm trying to start right at 11, so about 2.5 more minutes, let a few people get on. Hey Ashley. Ashley, I want to say since we're early, watching you and Desiree co-parent is so inspirational. It's so awesome to see the way you guys you have your relationship established as mothers. It's incredible. It's great to see. Josh, the heater, how are you? Jason, Snap on Brandon, how you doing? Minute and a half, we'll get started. I hope by somewhere into this I'm talking to more than 8 of you, but I'm very thankful that now nine of you are here to listen, and I'm excited to get your input. I think what I'm doing is it's going to take off to an extent, so I'm excited to have you guys either support or question. It's 11 o'clock. All right. Welcome to the inaugural episode of A Drink with Your Governor. I'm Ronnie Byerly. Those of you that are on here so far already know me, but hopefully we get some more through the next hour. I will be staying live through Facebook Public Live from now until midnight. I'm going to read off my 9th, 10th, and 11th act as governor of Texas. The way I've written these are not in order of importance or in necessarily the order of how I plan on getting them done. They are just at the order of which they came to my thoughts. And out of the 39 policies I've written so far from January till now, I will be breaking them up into whatever order I see fit, somewhat around current events, but I want to try and avoid heated topics in the moment of what's heated in the media, and I want to just stick to things that I think that are important for Texas. So if, say, abortion is a hot topic, the second or the first Friday of the second month of doing this is probably not something I'll address. I'd rather, stick to when people are more level-headed and less angry to talk about topics. So I'll be moving forward with each topic. All right, so it is November 6th. It's been one hell of a week for America. A lot of things are in limbo, and we are not even going to discuss that because that's not what I'm doing here. So I would rather get straight to the point. I hope you guys all had a good work week, and It's now Friday. It's 11 p.m. I guess sometimes I forget how late 11 p.m. can feel, but today my impression is that Friday, most people that are going to be voting are going to still be awake at 11 p.m. on a Friday after a long work week. So I'm just excited to have you here. I understand it's too late for some people. It's possibly too early for others, but it's the best middle of the road time I could figure out that I can do this and focus completely to it, and that hopefully everybody else will be able to. So we'll start by, hope you all had a good work week. I would like to have a drink with you as hardworking Texans. And then we'll move forward. So, salute, Texas. As I said, it's been an interesting week. I'm proud of you for all holding fast, and I appreciate you coming here to join me with this inaugural A Drink with Your Governor video. So we'll get moving after this, all right? Cheers, guys and girls. All right. So, my 9th act as governor, which, as I said, is the 9th, 10th, and 11th policy I've written. But the 9th act as governor will lead to the funding of Acts 10 and 11, which is why these correlate. And that's while we'll be doing this for 60 months, I want to, some of these things are going to connect. Things lead to others. So I'll be breaking them up in different ways. But we're going to move on with 9, 10, and 11. So I'm going to read out all of this as I've written. I'm a better writer than I am a speaker. I'm going to read it as clearly as possible. If I stutter, I apologize. Been popped in the jaw a couple of times in my life, and sometimes I stutter. So I'll read this without stepping on my words as best as I can. Please let me get to the end of it. Once I want to stay live as I answer whatever questions to the best of my capabilities and thoughts as you ask them, as long as everything stays decent, non-combative, and intelligent. If you get on here with some level of hate that is going anywhere, I will not even respond to you or address you. If you bring up reasonable topics, I'm happy to address them. If they are reasonable topics that are off topic of this, I will address you individually, and then I will likely make a separate video addressing solely that topic that is not a live type video. It's simply me explaining a topic in between the first Friday of every month. So let's start with Acts 9, 10, and 11. As I said, Act 9 will be funding Acts 10 and 11, but we'll start with Act 9. I will put into legislation and fight vigorously to legalize regulated gambling in the state of Texas. The profits the state will generate will far supersede the necessity for outlandish taxing across many fronts of Texans. The funding generated will go to multiple causes, but effective immediately upon passing will go to Acts 10 and 11 under my leadership. My 10th act as the governor of Texas. Immediate priority funding to the public education facilities within low-income housing districts. While income can and should separate class and neighborhood quality, it should not have an impact on the education all of our children receive. I personally believe that many of the racial issues in our country are perpetuated by predecessor generations and their failures. All children should have equal opportunity within our education system and not be held at fault due to the shortcomings of their parents. This should help perpetuate the positive and intelligent growth of our future generations and the communities in which they reside. School facility and education quality will become equal across all districts in the state of Texas. My 11th act as the governor of Texas. This portion of state judicial system reform will immediately go into legislation, which I will also fight tooth and nail to see pass. All plaintiffs in any Texas state criminal court will have access to equal quality representation. Many decisions are made, verdicts set, and consequences put into motion by the plaintiff being pressured by the state. This will be no more and considered and treated as a punishable felony criminal offense by the representative of the state. Deals and favors between defense and prosecution will be viewed the same. To enforce the assured quality of equal representation, I will start a new chapter of internal affairs, funded by state gambling profits. This chapter of internal affairs will have hundreds of officers rotating through the courts. Each case will have 2 internal affairs officers assigned to it, one for the defense attorney and one for the prosecutor. They will very closely monitor the actions of each and ensure that justice is being served to every plaintiff equally. Money will no longer define freedom in the great state of Texas. Dismissed and not guilty cases and verdicts will no longer haunt an individual's criminal record. They will be erased immediately, not requiring expensive expungements. That's it. That's where I'm at. That's Acts 9, 10, 11. So we have legalization of gambling, a way to fund the build of a better education system for all children, regardless of their parents' financial capabilities. I understand that there will be a lot of questionable things about neighborhoods, school districts, and whatnot, which I'm happy to answer in whatever questions you decide to ask. And then part of judicial reform, which is guaranteeing equal quality representation. So what I'm saying is that if a person makes $50,000 a year and they are, let's say, arrested for a DWI, fair example, the chances of them being able to afford an attorney that is going to get them a not guilty is pretty slim. A person that makes $150,000 a year, the chances of them being able to afford an attorney that's going to get them a not guilty is very high. That is not justice. That is bought freedom, and that is not fair to a person that still works hard but cannot afford better quality representation. And that is not that's not the way the court should be run. What I like about that idea is that a lawyer, a prosecutor, so a defense attorney or a prosecution attorney representing the state from the district attorney's office, they have to work together 100% within legality, no favors, or they'll be punished as criminals by representatives, officers of a new division of internal affairs. This means that we get back down to law. You don't get to buy your way out of anything. You mess up, you face a consequence. If you didn't mess up, you get just as much representation. And I think this will also cut down on false accusations, unjust arrests, and I think it'll put the district attorney's office under a little more scrutiny of who comes to court, because a lot of this seems to be wasted time. There's a lot of attorneys out there that pass off cases, and they make simple deals like, give me this person, I'll give you this person, this person, this person. It's going to be easier to convict them. We can scare them. We'll get a guilty or a no contest out of them, because we're going to drag this out for 3 years and make it miserable for them under the threat that there's the possibility of them going to jail for something they didn't do. And in that, they'll lose their cars, they'll lose their houses, and they'll likely lose relationships or employment. I think that would make a lot more fair. Joey Cox. Hey, buddy. He said, how will you stop or slow down crime when you legalize gambling? Define crime around legalized gambling. Go with that. I'm waiting. I don't really see even how that necessarily correlates You can't stop crime. You can't even really slow it down. I would think that the only crime that would alleviate would be illegal gambling, and that would just give more people less reasons to break the law. I don't really like the 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 government control of how a hardworking blue collar American can spend his money. If he wants to put it to chance and waste it, then let him, him or her. But if he chooses not to, if he chooses to invest it or I don't know, go to a record store and buy a record player, then let him do it. I mean, the government shouldn't have control on how a man spends his money. Prison reform in general, you have a solid point. Love this. Chase Dykes, prison reform. That is a whole other chapter of this. I have a lot to say on that. This, while I understand, leads into that to a point. I'm going to wait on that one. So just please stay tuned. There will be one on full prison reform. I have so much to say on that, but that's too much for this, and that will take us way off topic. This is more the pre-jail, pre-prison idea of the court system. So let's stay on topic. I hope you bring that up in further things, though, because I will be directly addressing that. I've already written 2 separate policies on that. Melissa Hagan, that question is completely on point from you, Ronnie. I'm not sure what question you're referring to. That. Oh, that. Hold on. That. It's not correlated. I'm not sure. You gotta clear that one up for me. Yeah, Chase. We all see illegal gambling going on, and this. My wife and I actually had a discussion about legality. It's kind of a taboo is not the word, but a sensitive topic. I mean, here's a good example. So almost a metaphor, but not. Prostitution. All right, it's legal in Nevada. It's not legal in Texas. Why? Being a female escort is legal in Texas, but in the event that she has sex with the person that she is accompanying to dinner and accepts money for it, then it becomes illegal. Why? Money. And I don't think that's fair. Like I don't support prostitution, but I think that there's too much control on what is legal on how a person spends or makes their money. If making their money or spending their money infringes on somebody else's rights to safety and or their simple human rights and it could possibly harm another, then yeah, that's a whole other topic. But as far as how a person spends their hard-earned money, that shouldn't affect anything. Oh, Melissa Hagan, thank you. Yeah, I don't really understand how that correlated either. Why do I think that Texas hasn't legalized gambling thus far? This might get me killed, but here's my thoughts. The Fertitas, all right? You go north, south, east, west of Texas, and outside of Indian casinos, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe I'm right, but correct me if I'm wrong. Outside of Native American casinos, the Fertitas own casinos and gambling. I believe I'm fully correct on this. But in Texas, they own the whole restaurant industry. So, I mean, you keep your money where it goes. Kind of the same as the bar shutdowns through COVID, like make the restaurants and licensure for a bar to become a restaurant, then they're okay. But you got to pay for it. I think it's just, you follow the money, you get back to the money. I think it's a money ploy. I think as long as they control it outside of Texas, they're able to control different parts of money inside Texas. I'm not saying it's just the Fertitas, but I think it's political. And I don't think, let me better address this. I don't think that the lack of legalization of gambling in Texas is a religious-based Bible Belt kind of thing. I think a lot of people go to that and say that. I don't personally find any kind of conviction in gambling. I personally don't gamble. I don't really like it. I've bet on a couple of fights before or random things like that. I've been to Vegas and lost a couple $100 on poker, but I personally don't enjoy gambling. I work pretty hard for my money, and I don't like to lose it to chance. But I support another man or woman losing their money to chance should they choose to enjoy the gamble. That's that. I don't think there should be anything illegal about that, personally. Michael Gustafson. How can you guarantee equality in defense? People with money don't rely on public defenders. That's what I just said, is that there will be a division of internal affairs that will be closely monitoring 2 officers per case, the defense and the prosecution, that are enforcing that both are 100% addressing the legality of the case, not favors, not anything like that. It's not going to matter how much one person paid for another lawyer, because that just allows one lawyer to spin something better than another lawyer to the prosecution. I don't like that. So it has to go down to a criminal offense towards prosecution or defense. That's the best way I can put that. I'll have to go deeper into it in detail of a written policy, but it basically will make an attorney actively giving less quality representation to one person as opposed to giving better quality representation to another person because of their financial capabilities being an illegal felony punishable offense. I think that's tampering. It's not fair. TABC wanted $800 to change your license to a restaurant from a bar. And what are you getting at with that? I know that, but what are you getting at with it, Chase? Melissa, I agree. Definitely financial-based fight. Michael Thrash, welcome. Since I'm trying to be fireman, I feel this is a good question. I gotta see more. Hold on. Michael, huge supporter of the fire department. My father-in-law is a retired firefighter. Love him to death. Hardworking man. However, this section of A Drink with Your Governor does not have to do with firefighter or political interference with retirement benefits. That will be a different chapter. I've written other policies that go into, basically, I'll be honest, I group you guys with the police, and it goes into a support structure for first responders. That will be later on down the road. So as I said before, I'm not going to come off topic. So if you want to address something that has to do with the legalization of gambling, public education facility reform, or equal representation in criminal courts, I'm happy to answer a question, but I'm not going to come off topic. Chase, I 100% agree. It's all about the money to them. There's nothing else. There's not any way in hell that me putting a burger next to a beer is going to make me have a better chance of not getting COVID. It's so clearly about the money. No worries, Michael, man. I appreciate you interjecting and putting your thoughts. That's what I'm trying to do here. But like I said, I want to stay on topic. I welcome you to ask anything about that, but I hope that you continue to watch these episodes, and when you decide to interject when I am addressing that topic, I hope and pray you're still listening, supporting, and I hope this spreads and gets more voices in here. So thank you for accommodating. Please don't apologize. I find it odd that a person came on here, asked about how I'm going to slow down or stop crime after legalizing gambling and how that correlates. And I said that, and they did not readdress. So you can come back with that one, Joey. We got time. Gordon Snyder. Gordon, you are late to the party, but I know that the party waits for you. I'm drinking Jack Daniels, Have you had a drink yet this evening? Because I'd be happy to have one with you. Joey, that's why I'm here, is just to help give the people more of a voice in all this. A lot of us wish we would have had it, especially this year. Melissa Hagan, when it comes to equal representation, I hear what you're saying about spending the money if you have it to win, but your ideology of having a separate governing force, I don't really find that as a separate governing force. We're talking about a new chapter of internal affairs. You know, internal affairs goes into investigating due process with the police force. Why should there not be investigation of due process into the court system? Why should they not? I don't feel like that's even creating a whole new governing power. That's just adding a necessary chapter to investigative research into a division of our criminal process. It would have to be, Melissa Hagan, that chapter would have to be regulated as any other police force. I cannot stop corruption. There's always going to be levels of corruption. There's always going to be that. But what you can do is you can try and muffle it, you know, and a new division of internal affairs to stay investigative within the actual court criminal proceedings would have to at least equalize things to a point. I mean, it's got to be a step in the right direction. And you can just the same stuff with the schools. We can make the facilities nicer. We can make sure that the teachers are paid more to have better teachers there. We can do all kinds of things, but you can't stop bad kids from acting bad. And I'm not saying that all kids in low income areas are bad. There's a lot of bad kids in high income areas, but there's always going to be bad apples, and you can't blame it on that. I mean, you gotta give teachers a reason to be in less fear of doing their job of teaching, and the facilities need to be just as nice everywhere. I've walked into some schools that are less than savory. I've been in some that are very nice. So I can't see why the state can't afford to make them all nice across the board. I mean, I can see why they don't, but I can't see why they can't. Gordon, I would like to specifically have a drink with you. So I'm going to pour that and say thank you. I would like for all the rest of you hardworking Texans to take one with us and a fine member of our law enforcement. Here is to law enforcement and all the rest of you Texans. Cheers. Brett, I see what you did there. That was good. What programs would be introduced to help gambling problems, Chase Dykes? I believe those already exist. Same thing as Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous. I believe you have a Gamblers Anonymous, something along those lines. I don't personally gamble, so I don't really know a lot about it. But if there is not something already standing like Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous, it's definitely a system that I could see plenty of state counselors ready to hop into and help people to find better ways. Excuse me. Gordon, pitter patter. Let's get at her. I'm enjoying this turnout. This is, as I said, my inaugural A Drink with Your Governor episode, and this is actually going well. There's not a whole lot of you, but the people that are here are offering up really good conversation and questions, so this is exactly what I was looking to do. I just drove through, Melissa Hagan said, just driving to Louisiana. There are signs everywhere for gambling issues. I made that drive a couple months ago all the way into Florida, and they are everywhere. But maybe an easy answer would be contacting those organizations and just finding out how to establish them throughout Texas, or especially in the cities where you're going to have more of the casinos once all that takes speed. Michael Gustafson, how do you feel that gambling problems are more of an issue for healthcare than they are for state level programs? That's interesting. Come on, Michael, that fast. These things are loading up quick. I don't really see how healthcare and gambling addiction correlates unless alcohol abuse or drug abuse is what is like a gateway to gambling, which I'm sure that they correlate, but I don't see them necessarily running on the same path. I feel like gambling is a very separate addiction. But until you tell me how it's more of a healthcare issue, I'm gonna have a hard time answering that. Chase Dykes wrote a book, so I gotta touch the screen here for a second. Let's see. Sorry. Well, Chase, there, hold on. Apparently broke the screen. Yeah, you're right, Chase. There shouldn't be any kind of issue. Michael Gustafson, so you're saying that gambling is a personal or mental health issue. I totally agree. Not a state-funded program. Don't you think that alcoholism is more of a mental health issue? It's addiction. It's getting stuck to something because of the way it makes you feel. I get that there's, levels of the body being addicted to something, but AA is a support group. It's fellowship for groups of people that have issues that want to talk about their problems. And I know that there are levels of state funding or state counseling, but I don't think that runs in healthcare. I personally don't think so. And if you have insurance that covers counseling or psychiatric help, then that should just be that. I feel like there should be support groups, and the facilities and the individual counselor working them should be paid by the state, just like we have BIP programs and alcohol awareness programs and everything else. That should run along the same lines. Sammy Alessa Thibodeau, this is my vet for 2 dogs. One that is old and awesome, and the other one that is a puppy and insane. Let me see what you said. I hope it's appropriate so I can read it all. Lesbians for Byerly. Thank you for your personal education for me on many things already. I couldn't agree more tonight. No question for you, but how about a drink? Sammy, I just took one with a very prestigious member of the law enforcement community. I would love to take one with you, but could we give it about 10 minutes? Because I'd like to pace it out, and I do not want to appear to be a lush. So I would love to have a drink with you, but do me a favor and let's readdress that here in about 10 minutes, okay? And thank you, Lesbians for Byerly. Byerly for Lesbians. I'm kind of surprised nobody's really questioned on the school topic. We've kind of gone straight from gambling to legal representation. Hold on, let me see. This might be a good one. But I would like to get back to the school topic. Sierra Stanton said, you can't just cancel all gambling or not allow it to be legal here because some people get addicted to it. That's like, hold on. That's like not having any bars because some people are alcoholics. I came in a weird time. Did I miss anything? I think you missed everything, to be completely honest. Based on that, we are at halftime. So what I'm going to do is reread this whole policy again. So just hold off on the questions. Melissa Hagan, I'll get back to that. Brent Bontrager, I'll get back to that. Let me reread all this because obviously some people have come in at a midpoint and are not understanding the point of that. I have no intention of getting rid of gambling. This is about bringing gambling to Texas. So hold on one second, all right? I'll start from the top. My ninth act as the governor of Texas will lead to the funding of Acts 10 and 11. Once again, if I stutter or step on words, you know, it's going to happen. So bear with me. I write a lot better than I speak. Act 9. I will put into legislation and fight vigorously to legalize regulated gambling in the state of Texas. The profits that the state will generate will far supersede the necessity for the outlandish taxing across many fronts of Texans. The funding generated will go to multiple causes, but effective immediately upon passing will go to Acts 10 and 11 underneath my leadership. My 10th act as the governor of Texas. Immediate priority funding to the public education facilities within low-income housing districts. While income can and should separate class and neighborhood quality, it should not have an impact on the education all of our children receive. I personally believe that many of the racial issues in our country are perpetuated by predecessor generations and their failures. All children should have equal opportunity within our education system and not be held at fault due to the shortcomings of their parents. This should help perpetuate the positive and intelligent growth of future generations and the communities in which they reside. School facility and education quality will become equal across all districts in the state of Texas. My 11th act as the governor of Texas. This portion of the state judicial system reform will immediately go into legislation, which I will also fight tooth and nail to see pass. All plaintiffs in any Texas state criminal court will have access to equal quality representation. Many decisions are made, verdicts set, and consequences put into motion by the plaintiff being pressured by the state. This will be no more and considered and treated as a punishable felony criminal offense by the representative of the state. Deals and favors between defense and prosecution will be viewed the same. To enforce the assured quality of equal representation, I will start a new chapter of internal affairs funded by state gambling profits. This chapter of internal affairs will have hundreds of officers rotating through the courts. Each case will have 2 internal affairs officers assigned to it, one for the defense attorney and one for the prosecutor. They will very closely monitor the actions of each and ensure that justice is being served to every plaintiff equally. Money will no longer define freedom in the great state of Texas. Dismissed and not guilty cases and verdicts will no longer haunt an individual's criminal record. They will be erased immediately and not requiring expensive expungements. All right, getting back to it. see. Melissa Hagan, just 2 days ago, I personally had to get a friend into medically assisted rehab by the state because she had no other option. It's a tough subject. I bet it is. I've actually been in the same situation with a friend in the past. The drug route was never a route I went down. Even in youth, I won't say I never tried anything, but I never liked it. I saw too many people just fail so miserably and ruin their lives so quickly that I never chose that path. But did see a lot of people choose that path and did see a lot of people destroy their lives. Thank God she had a friend like you. So that's really the best I can say. But as far as gambling, it's just really not. I don't think gambling rehab. It's a totally different thing. It's not a chemical dependency. That's a what would you call it? It's a vice. It's a vice addiction. So it's different. I'd say gambling addiction and sexual addiction would be similar. I wouldn't say that being addicted to a methamphetamine and being addicted to gambling are the same thing. I'm not saying that your friend was on methamphetamines. I'm just saying, like, comparing two different types of addictions. Brent Bontrager. Since the rest of the country is leaning towards marijuana legalization, thoughts for Texas? As I said before, I'm not going to get off topic in these things, especially things that could run into a lot of time. Know that is one of my policies I've already written. I have huge plans for that. I hope that you watch and are entertained and interject and ask questions just as now when I do address the legalization of marijuana, which will likely be one of the next 3 episodes of this. But I am 100% for the legalization of marijuana, and I have a lot of awesome ideas on how that will be so beneficial to the state of Texas. I hate marijuana. I don't like it at all. Don't want to have anything to do with it. I will say that CBD oil has been a huge beneficial part of my mental health. It makes me feel better daily. It's lowered anxiety, lowered blood pressure, and I love this stuff. I personally am not a fan of marijuana as in the idea of smoking it or anything like that, but I do not think it should be illegal. So I will get into that heavily in a further episode, but that's the extent of that for right now. Chase said, "You've done great tonight, by the way. Love the answers and policy addressed. What you addressed about the schools are on point. Nothing to question with that." Thanks, Chase. You and I don't always see eye to eye. That's for sure. I think that personally, we haven't really spoken about it because we're social distancing, but I think that you and I see eye to eye more often than not. It just seems as though through written text and comments that's not the case. But I do think that I think you're a good guy, and I think that we more than likely agree on more topics than we seem to disagree in Facebook comments. So carry on, man, and thank you. Sierra Stanton, I agree to all of this. I think that this is what we've needed. Your take on this is how things should be. It makes me wonder why it hasn't been done here. Why it hasn't already been done here. The fact that it hasn't been done here is a large percentage of what made me decide to try and do this. So I don't know. Maybe it was inspiration for the future, but I do think it's something we need. So we'll see. It's up to you guys that this makes it further. I'll spend the money I can on campaigning stuff, but I'm not some super wealthy guy. So as I can afford to put up a billboard somewhere in a rural area, I will. When I can afford for flyers, when I can do whatever. I previously, in the introduction video and the outline video that I was going to be doing this, I said that I'd be attaching a GoFundMe. I chose not to do that yet. I want this to pick up a little bit of speed, probably 3-4 episodes in before I attach a GoFundMe. Otherwise, it kind of just looks like a bunch of, no better word to say than bullshit. So I want you guys to see months of dedication in this, and then I'll put a GoFundMe. In the event you're able to donate or help, it'll go straight to it. Or you can write me personally and ask for campaign photos or whatnot, and I'll send you full-size PDF, PSDs, and JPEGs you can use to print your own stuff and put them wherever you want, should you choose to. But the primary basis of this campaign is going to be social media, so I'm going to work as hard as I can doing it, and I will spend money where I can. But billboards are expensive, and I've already reserved a few. I'm working on it, but I'm doing what I can. So I agree, it needs to be done, and I'm trying to do it on a platform that the common man could. So there's that. Keep in mind that over the next 6 years, I will be battling people with millions of dollars of funding. So hopefully this message gets through, and it does light a fire under the ass of some people that would like to see some change from just your regular blue-collar, hard-working American. So that's the best I can really tell you on that. But thank you. I'm going to try as hard as I can. Melissa Hagen, this is perfect. This is exactly what I was looking for. The 10th is going to be your toughest fight, attempting to provide equal level of education we are so deeply entrenched with inequality of life and education. I couldn't agree more. I know that's gonna be the tougher part. It might be the tougher part. There's a lot more corruption in your criminal courts than there probably is in schools by any means. But it's the idea of funding. The state has the ability to create so much funding. You don't need to be taxing every individual to crumple this money. And some of this money just goes, Memorial, there is a hospital system that spent, I want to say like $11 million on a spiral staircase. Tax money. A staircase. What would $11 million do for the salaries of teachers throughout the state of Texas? I feel like you could split up $11 million in a year to really entice some really high quality teachers to come to some low income areas. It's got to be risk versus reward, and for a lot of these teachers to come into a slightly more dangerous environment is not worth like 40 grand a year. I wouldn't do it, but I would, but different. I'm also not a teacher. I'm not an educator in that sense. So for what they are paid day in and day out, it's not worth it to them. So there has to be incentives. Also, why would a teacher want to take a pretty low salary to come into a school that the air conditioning isn't working half the time, or the water goes out, or the water filtration sucks, or just anything. The facilities have to be nice, because I'm seeing some brand new built neighborhoods in some nice areas. These brand new schools that are, they're amazing, and then you pass by some low income areas. And the thing is that is just perpetuation of failure, whether it be the government side or the community side. But the children that don't work and don't vote and they're just not old enough to have a huge say in that, I feel as long as they're in the public education system under the age of 18, they should have equal opportunity. And everything's going to take legislature and finding a way, but my goal is to find a way. So that's the best I can really tell you on that. Let's see. Sierra, you said Sierra Stanton, if I have anything you want me to help or you want to help share, thank you. Please share all this. For everything I do, share it. When you have to share my tattoo work or my personal life or some stupid part I put on my truck or anything like that, that's not gonna do any good for us. But anytime I'm posting something on this subject of the governor idea, I'm gonna run. I'm gonna legitimately run. Who knows? It's how far we get this out that is how loud the voice becomes. I think we'll make some waves, though. I think we'll make some waves. Worst case, I lose, and then I do it again. So I'm 37 years old right now. I'll be 43 by the time this election takes place. That's 6 years. That's a lot of time to get some stuff done. So please share everything as much as you can. Encourage your friends to share, and hopefully that's how we get this out. We just need to get it out through Texas, Chase Dykes, based on what you said about marijuana, please read the post I added a few hours ago for my lobbying days. It was an email I received by a local Texan. Yes, I also agree. We do see eye to eye on a lot. Yeah, Chase, like I said, even just addressing that, I got kind of far off topic, but that is a huge topic, and I do want you to know that I am in support of it. I'm in support of the freedom of the people, and anyway, the land of Texas can make some money because there is rightful tax. It's the land, if it's using the soil of Texas to grow, then that's a pretty fair profit for Texas to make. And I feel like there's enough money there where it can be shared between the grower and the state of Texas. And that could fund for a lot of things like the topics we've been discussing tonight. So I will look at your stuff, Chase, and then I'll get back to you, or I'll write it down and write some comments to address in that specific policy when I do that video, that episode. Guys, we've made it 50 minutes. This is crazy. It's the first time. I'm excited. I think this is going well. Best farmland in the nation. Yes, sir, it is. Texas. I am very, very proud to be a resident here. Well, ladies and gents, we got 10 minutes. So fire them off at me. I'm actually extremely happy with how this has gone. There's been almost no negativity, and I've personally, through this entire process, been expecting more. I expected a lot of doubt from people and a lot of negativity, and I have not gotten that much. I've gotten more of an emotion of not fear, but not like you can't do this, but a lot more of like, you're not really gonna do this, are you? Like they believe there's a shot. So I'm excited that at least some people are intrigued. One thing that got me started in this is there's a meme I made, a video I made. All of it got a lot of likes and a lot of shares. And for months, every morning, there's been probably a minimum of 20 hate messages in my inbox, whether it be Instagram or Facebook. And it's just hateful comments for a pretty strong stance on morality and not coming against anybody, just having faith in God and love for my country. And I felt like that was a lot of attention to not let go to waste. So now we're doing this. Melissa Hagan said, "For life, Ronnie. You have always been an eloquent writer. Educate and go for it. You have more supporters than you know." Thank you. I hope so. Chase Dykes, thank you for your support. Michael Gustafson, I honestly think every level of government needs less career politicians and more people like you. Thank you. I fully agree. I could not agree more. I feel like we don't have control. We feel like we have influence and control, and it just does not feel that way. This year has been an eye-opener for a lot of us. We've had previous years. We've had previous years to see this establishment fail us, but we are really seeing it now. And I'm not a rich guy, but I'm not a poor guy, and I've got just enough to run some money through a solid effort at this. So I'm going to do as much as I can. As long as you guys can share this and put it forward somewhere, then maybe we got a shot. But I can promise that I end up in office and I want to make everybody happier. It's the best way to put it. Texas is a great place and everybody can thrive. So let's all help everybody thrive. Let's find middle ground. Let's come to agreements in the middle. I don't expect you to believe fully what I believe, and you shouldn't expect me to believe fully what you believe. That's bigotry, ultimately. But finding a middle ground, that's finding a way to make forcing 10 people to go in one direction. It's not cool. Finding a way to make 500 people move in the right direction, that's leadership. So maybe we can figure out the middle. Chase, I expect you to call me out when you don't like what I have to say. So for sure, I'll be waiting. But like I said, I think we're probably on the same page. Justin Richwine, thank you very much. I appreciate the support. I guess since these videos, people probably aren't going to have a huge attention span for a full hour, I'm going to go ahead and, hold on. Never mind. I think that's a good one. Brent Bontrager, what do you feel your biggest deterrent in seeking office? I'm happy you asked this because my biggest deterrent is actually what I'm looking forward to the most. I have a checkered past. I'm open. The thing is I don't have any skeletons in my closet because I'll call myself out before I give anybody else the opportunity to. So they will come after me for my youth. You know, we all went to bars. We all slept with women. We all drank too much. We all showed up late to work. We all made mistakes. We all failed as friends. We all failed as humans to others. We all messed up. The problem with your modern politician is that they just never did that. They're groomed. It's all media. It's put to some way that these are just these prim and proper people. I don't wear a button-up shirt every day. I'm dressing like this for these videos because I feel like it's respectful to you to put forth an image that is of a responsible adult. You know, I wear a t-shirt and jeans or shorts, cargo shorts, sometimes camouflage cargo shorts every day, and a hoodie if I'm cold. I'm not the model image. They're going to capitalize on that. I have a small criminal record. They're going to capitalize on that. I have tattoos. That's definitely not the image. I'm not the model image. I'm not a politician. That will be my number one biggest deterrent. I'm excited for that battle because I'm already prepared for it. I'm an open book, 100% honest. There's no lies behind me. There's nothing I won't tell the truth. There's not Not a thing. There's no skeletons because I've always been open and honest. So if they bring it out against me, I'm going to tell the truth. And it's truth that anybody already knows. People can spin things however they want. They can do whatever, but I'm a good man, and I'm going to act as a good man, and I'll tell the truth as a good man, and that's the end of it. So, but that will definitely be the biggest deterrent. They'll try and pull anything against me. I've heard that in 2026 there is a member of a certain team that I have a lot of respect for that I could potentially be running against. If that's the question, cool. You know, because if I end up being his competition and he ends up being a better man than me, then that means he's more suited for the job. If I'm his competition and I end up being a better man than him, that means I'm more suited for the job. And that's up to the people, as it should be. Chase Dykes said, they will use it against you. You can guarantee that. Find your way around it. Keep speaking the way you are tonight, and there's nothing they can do. You're absolutely correct. That's it. It's me. 100% of my campaign basis is that I want you for the next 6 years to get to know me. You know, some of you already know me, but I'm going to invite you into my home via the new norm of contact, which I say that with so much sarcasm, but invite you into my home and to have a discussion with me for an hour with a drink, first Friday of every month after a long work week. That should be it. I'm an open book. You guys can ask questions as they come against me. As I said, if it's combative or whatnot, I'm not gonna. If it deters from, you know, each individual policy, I'm not gonna address it in here. But I will make individual small short videos or whatnot just to address those topics. But other than that, that's it. But thank you, Chase. Brett, exactly. That's what I'm going for. Just to be the same as you guys and hopefully help all of us get our voices heard at a higher level and all find a common ground and a greater good. All right, guys, we got 30 seconds left of this. I want to have one more drink with you. Thank you so much for joining me. I feel like this has been a huge success. I'm very excited. I was actually pretty nervous going into this because it was the first one, and now this just means the rest of them are going to be easier and a lot smoother. This has been great. I'm very happy with this. So if we can keep up just momentum like this, I'm very happy because we've got 6 years to get it out there. So I'm super pleased, but thank you very much. So I'd like to have one more drink with you before we close this off, and then we're going to call it a night because I am tired. Cheers. Thank you very much. I love you all. This has been great. Thank you, Texas. Good night.